To meet all these people we know such a long time, and just to see them here gathering and still being faithful, going on their ways, it's really touching me. And also the country itself. I see the beauty of Africa so much, and I love Africa, and I see the richness on this continent. God is really rejoicing over Africa, and He has a lot of hope here.
And for me, it's also, as Barbara just said, I love Africa. I used to live in Kenya for a while before we were married, and I just love it. So it's kind of almost coming home. And I've been working with King's Kids for over 20 years, very closely with Dale. So we've become real close friends. And the thing that has touched us most and has really been very much in our hearts ever since is the whole linking of generations. That the call is not just for one generation, but it's for more generations. So I was actually overseeing King's Africa for many years. And whenever our children were preteens, I took each one of them with me on a trip to Africa. So they all have been to Africa. Later on, our youngest went back to Africa to work in an orphanage for half a year. And next year, our son plans to take a team from our church to Africa for a summer outreach. I would share the one about Tamu Nkoro from Mali, the King's Kids leader there. I've known Tamu since over 25 years. And I mean, Mali is a very patriarch society, you know, where men have the say and women have to obey. And I've seen the principles of King's Kids about generation, about walking together as a family, really develop over the years in his family. And the way he treats his wife, the way he treats his daughter, he's here with one of his daughters, the way he speaks about his daughters and his sons is with such tender love, such affection.
Yes.
And I believe this is a real role model, you know, and for me also a source of hope for people around him in Mali. One thing that is really very much on my heart, we see tens of thousands running away from Africa right now because they have no perspective. No perspective for economical life, no perspective to be able to support their family. So they run away hoping that they will have a perspective in Europe. And many of them drown, as you all know. We have from Latin America lots running up north with the same intention. And many of the wars we have is because those young people that are at war have nothing else to do, and the warlords pay them because they have no other work. So they work for whoever. They have no conviction about what they fight for. They fight for money or for food. I really believe that we have a task as the body of Christ to provide economical perspective. And I believe as we are raising a new generation of young people, it's important that we actually teach them about the value of work and about the place of work, that work is a calling, that work is worship, and that it has a value in itself. It's not just to support missionaries, it's not just to support myself, but it's also to support others, to give perspective to others. And so my dream is that out of the next generation of King's Kids people will become a lot of people that will start businesses, that will provide workspace, and that there will be a rumor going around in Africa that there is a perspective, that there is no need to run away, that there are hubs in Africa where there is hope, where one can actually make a living, and where there's a perspective and a vision for economy to grow. Well, when Dale and Carol were actually dressed as queen and as king, knowing them, we knew this would be a little bit embarrassing for them, and that they were struggling even before God. Should we allow this to happen? Do we really deserve that? But I felt very strongly, and I believe Barbara too,
yes,
they deserve it.
Oh,
they
yeah.
deserve it, they deserve it.
Yes.
And I believe God
Very much.
also wanted to honor them.
Yes.
And so I believe it was totally okay for God
Yeah.
that they were actually crowned, and I believe in their hearts They didn't take the glory for themselves.
Yes.
But I hope that they could at least accept the thank you of God. And I believe they did. After 40 years in the ministry, we would really like to thank Dale and Carol Kaufman for just holding on and for being faithful to their call, for not giving up, for standing up even after hardships and difficulties, and surmounting one challenge after the other, and really being faithful to what God has told them to do.
Also from my side, very much respect to you, Carol and Dale. You are such a model for us. You are so close friends, and thank you for all the sacrifices I know that they did. It's amazing, and thank you so much for who you are.